Welcome, sir. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
welcome from Navjivan Law College, sir. So, good morning, all of you. I am Makarand Pandey, Assistant Professor, Navjivan Law College. With you in this third phase of the lectures. The today's topic is importance of ADR in today's and resource person is Mr. Yati Game, Secretary, District Legal Services Authority, Mumbai. Now, friends, as you all know, the traditional dispute resolution system, that is the court, effective certain drawbacks, like it have it is a time consuming, it is money consuming. To fight with all these disabilities or drawbacks, the ADR technique comes into operation. The ADR contains typical advantages over the formal litigations. It supports certain court system. It is time saving. It is money saving. Of course, it provides justice for disadvantaged groups. The various techniques, ADR techniques used in all over the world, conciliation, mediation, negotiation, and local and procedural laws, evidence, CPC, CRPC, the provisions regarding settlement of the dispute has been inserted. Now, the most important advantage of ADR method is that parties will not only satisfy the ill will that would have existed between them will also end. So, win-win situation is there for both the parties. So, with this, I again welcome Mr. Ramesh sir, and I now request our principal sir to welcome Ramesh sir.
On behalf of the Navajivan Education Society, Navajivan Law College, and with the cooperation of District Authority Nasik, I welcome today's resource person, Honorable Gameshwar, who has accepted our invitation to be a person on this occasion. Continuing phase two of the and it is very pleasure on my part that our participants are giving response virtual and students also are having a part in this. I welcome dignitary personalities who have last but not the least the two coordinators who have executed virtual class well. With these two words, I request our resource person to continue with his enlightening the students and with his experience to share it with this topic of ADR. Thank you very much.
So, friend, just a brief introduction of Yatin Gamesar. Yatin Gamesar has pursued his LLB and LLM from Pune University. He practiced in Bombay High Court, Aurangabad bench till 2005 and joined judiciary in 2006. He worked in Dhule, Nagpur and Satara. He promoted as a metropolitan magistrate in Bandra Court in the year 2016, and presently he is deputed as a secretary of District Legal Services Authority, Mumbai, from the year 2017. So it is a brief introduction of Gamesar. Now I request Gamesar to enlighten our students.
Thank you, Pandey sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Good morning to all of you. Honorable Principal Sri Dev, the respected Professor Sri Pandey, the Naujivan Law College, the staff members, my friend, my colleague, Mr. Kulkarni, who is the Secretary of the Nasik District Legal Services Authority, and my dear friends. First of all, I must thanks to Naujivan Law College for taking this initiative to organize this marathon lecture series for the students. Friends, you are aware that the 2020, the year, has set the precedent which was not expected our past. We all face a lot, work hard. So many persons lost their job. Even courts works are also heavily affected due to pandemic situation. But still, on this world platform, we are trying our best to lead the persons, marginal class society, as well the law students on different topic of the law subject. So, so we start with the our subject which has been allotted to me. The subject which is allotted to me is the ADR, Alternate Dispute Resolution System. Mr. Pandey told me that this ADR is a part of curriculum and the students are eager to know about these subjects. So I feel very happy because till completing graduation in law, we had no occasion to learn this subject, which is very important one. And nowadays it is playing very vital role. So the friends, you are very lucky that you are getting this opportunity to know about these systems, which is very important, rather, which is a playing very vital role in discharge of the justice, in discharge of the justice. Friends, we are from the cultures where the people believes to settle their dispute in amicable manner. These are the reason by which we adopted the alternate dispute resolutions as part of delivery of the justice. So when we uh, perusal the scope of this particular platform, it will reveal that there are two modes of the dispute resolutions. One is the traditional dispute resolution. Just now, Pandey highlighted that by way of this resolution, by way of platform, the party in dispute approaches to court for getting adjudications. With the help of litigations, by way of the litigations, the court delivered the justice to the party. So you might have question in your mind when there is a traditional dispute resolutions, why there is a need of another mode of alternate dispute resolutions. Friends, you are aware that the no doubt that the courts as well as the tribunal and the quasi judicial authorities, which are the functioning organs of governments, they are playing very important role in discharge of justice. But the friends, when after getting independence, you are aware that our constitution has ensured to protect the life and the property of persons, and on that basis, the every citizen of this country can approach to court for the purpose of protecting his personal and proprietary right. But during passing of time, it came across that the right from the apex court to trial courts, so many persons started approaching to courts. They are getting good result from the court, justice delivered to the persons in time in initial period, but later on it reveals that the number of the cases coming before the courts, number of the litigations in courts are overcrowded. Overcrowded means due to lack of strength of sufficient strength of the judges, infrastructures. It came across that the person who approaches to court, their cases could not able to reach before the court in time. Then you are aware that it is a principle which is universally accepted that the justice delayed is justice denied. So this was the, we can say, problem before the judicial institution. So how this position can be tackled, and there was a real need of some platform which would work like a court, but which ensured that this platform would not adopt the technical procedures which has been adopted by the courts. So friends, these are the reason by which circumstances constrain us to explore the modes of the different modes of the areas. When we are talking about the alternate dispute resolution, it is not new for us. When we go in our history, we will find that mostly in the mufasal area, rural area, we will find that when there was any dispute or quarrel at the village level or the root level, the head of this particular village used to intervene such particular dispute. Now, these concept may not exist passing of the time, but it is well known in our culture that the head of the village is called as a Mukhia, which I used to intend to resolve the dispute within the party in dispute to approach the prayer, and the panchayat was having the aging person, spectacle persons, and who are well aware the social and topographical of this particular village. So it was the trend, it was a custom that whatever decision delivered by Panchaj, Mukhiya was binding on this particular party, the party was supposed to follow this particular decision. So this is the concept of idea which was rooted in our cultures. So thereafter, we can say that the after British rule, the legal concept has played a vital role, and courts and other quasi-judicial authorities have taken place as the mode for delivering the justice. And on this, we over from the panchayat system to say the uh, Nyaya. So on that basis, the journey of the has started. So I told you that time has come to think that there should be some platform which can ensure to deliver the justice, which can ensure to negotiate the matters, which can ensure to settle the matters within a short period by adopting the flexible process, which is a convenient party. So on that basis, different modes of the ADR came into existence. When we are talking about the alternate dispute resolutions and different mode prescribed under the alternate dispute resolutions, it reveals that the near the five modes contemplated on the rules which can be used by party as an alternate dispute resolution. This particular mode, the mode be arbitration. So arbitration, we can say that the other this would be when the parties in dispute entered into contract. At the time of entering into contract, party itself decide that the whatever dispute pop up between us will be decided by the private authority. That is called as arbitration. We can say the arbitration is also work like the person who is acted as arbitrators giving decisions on the basis of the evidence, on the basis of documents, on the basis of material produced before him. But the care has been taken. The said persons do not know the technical rigid technical rule or rigid technical procedures which has been adopted by the court, and this platform very useful for those persons most those cases mostly commercial transactions where the parties are entered into a big contract, and there is the we can say that the different the dispute between two different industrialists regarding the commercial transactions. So they are taking cares over dispute occurs in futures. The persons that dispute will be resolved by the persons who has been appointed by consents of the party. So in short, we can say that in case of arbitration is nothing but private judge. Deliberately, I use judge because the work of the judge is to adjudicate the case. To adjudicate case means whatever the material evidence came before the court has to deliver the decision after gone through particular evidence by way of adjudication. Same role has been performed here by private persons. So that's why this private authority is the adjudicate authority, whatever decision given by the authority binding the party. The main difference between regular court system and arbitration is the arbitrator has not followed the technical procedures which have been adopted by court, and it is comparatively we can say that the as well as the procedure has adopted by the court. So this is regarding the arbitrations. So when we go for the next mode of arbitration would be a conciliation. It's a conciliation. We can say that it is the non-adjudicatory part. Why it is non-adjudicatory part? Because the conciliator has not delivering any decision. He is not adjudicating the dispute between the parties, but he is trying to settle the dispute between parties in amicable manner. He says solutions. He gives the we can say that he put forth the options of settlement before the party so that party would able to arrive the settlement in short of time and the which would be benefited to the parties because the party themselves involved in the process of the settlement. So in short, we can say that during conciliation is the non-adjudicate process in which the conciliator help to negotiate the matters between parties, he has to settle matters between parties in amicable manner. So, in short, arbitration and conciliation, most are governed under the arbitration and conciliation 1990s. So, we can say that this is a very important metropolicity. So, basically, we have this platform, most of the commercial transactions get set through arbitrations as well as the conciliation. Next mode is the Adalat. All you are aware that the Legal Services Authority Act came into existence in the year 1987. The Article 39A of the Indian Constitutions ensures to provide the free legal assistance to the needy persons. And on that basis, it was obligatory on part of government to create a platform to ensure to provide the free legal assistance and the advice to the needy persons. Friends, you are aware that the this by way of this amendment 39A amendment in the year 1976, the move there was a move for we can say that the move for creating the platform which rather a codified law which would be applicable to all states across the country, which ensure to provide the legal assistance to the needy persons. So on that basis, after 1976, the different state as the central take move to codify the laws which ensures to form the promise which has been incorporated in 30 the Indian Constitution. The year 1982, in the year 1982, the first attempt was made to organize the Lok Adalat in the Gujarat state. So this was a very important move because till that period there was absolutely no any law, no any codified rules which governs the workings of the Lok Nyalaya. And I must tell you that the Lok Nyalaya which was organized in 1982, the Gujarat state, it gives very huge success and it found that this is very good platform for settling their dispute through the Lok Adalat. So from the 1982, the movement of the mission of the National Lok Adalat has been started in our nations. Thereafter, in 1987, when the Legal Services Authority Act came into existence, the concept of the Lok Adalat has been implemented. The rules are framed for organizing the Lok Adalat, and the Lok Adalat has started playing a vital role. Hence, under the if we peruse the different provisions under the Legal Services Authority Act 1987, you will find that the Legal Services Authority, which has been set up at district level as well as state level, as well as the national level, the said authority is under obligations to organize the galat for the pending matters. That is means the cancellation cases as well as the litigation cases. So it has been all are aware that the National Legal Service Authority is the apex body which decided the schedule of the National Lok Adalat, and the dates which are fixed well in advance are circulated to all state legal services authority across the nation, so that uh, the National Lok Adalat can be arranged in uniformly basis in all districts across the nation on same day. So at present, we are conducting the National Lok Adalat every year. We are having 4 to 5 National Lok Adalat, and that Lok Adalat has been conducted by the State Legal Services Authority, and all district legal services authority are working on the State Legal Services Authority. And we are talking about the matters coming before the Lok Adalat. You will find that the two types of matters are coming before the Lok Adalat. First of all, those matters which are the pending before the court. I told you that these are the categories of the cases which covers under the post litigations cases. So those cases which are pending before the court, if we are talking about the criminal cases, it covers only the compoundable cases. Compoundable cases means those cases which can be settled at the instance of the complainant and victims. So such type of the cases, criminal cases are coming before the Lok Adalat. Next category would be the check dishonor cases. If you are aware that nowadays the court are flooded with the litigations of check dishonor cases. So this type of the cases also coming before the Lok Adalat. Third category is the civil matters. All civil matters are coming before the National Lok Adalat, except the matters of the, we can say, the elections, defamation suits, as well as the representative suits. So these type of cases are excluded from the from placing before the Lok Adalat, because these are not the fit cases to be kept before the Lok Adalat. So we can say these are the categories of the cases in litigation category which comes before the Lok Adalat. When I also talk with you that it is not necessary that your dispute should be pending before court, or it is not a condition precedent that only those cases which are pending before are to be kept before the Lok Adalat. Some type of cases that we came across that the persons are yet to knock the door of court, but still they want that they choose this platform for settling their cases. In this particular cases, mostly cases are filed by the banks for recovery of the dues. Thereafter, some companies, MTNLs, as well as some private telephone services companies, against their customers for recovery of the standing bills and others. So these types of cases are coming before the Lok Adalat by way of pre-institution. So this is very most important thing is that post litigations and pre-litigations are coming before the courts, are coming before the we can say Lok Adalat for the purpose of settlement. So what happened on this particular day of the Lok Adalat? So the Lok Adalat is having the 3 members. One is the retired or existing judicial officers. Second one is the advocate, and third one is the social worker. So this is the quorum of the 3 persons. So when the cases comes before these 3 persons, so it is duty of the members of the Lok Adalat to see that how the matters can be amicably settled in between parties. So this is very important that this is the ADR mode. This is not the mode by which the cases can be adjudicated by some third persons. In this process, the parties themselves involved in settlement. So the parties have an opportunity to decide which is the best mode for settling their disputes. They are having, we can say that there would be a exchange of thoughts of parties before this expert body, and if the expert body came across that there is some good terms of settlement which can be benefited to both sides, it can be suggested by the members of the Lok Adalat. So once the case is settled before the Lok Adalat, the members of the Lok Adalat prepares the terms of settlement. Why the terms of settlement is required? Because whatever decided between the Lok Adalat, it should be reduced in writing so that it becomes a part of evidence. So once the paper is there, the writing paper is there, so it's a part of evidence, and the parties bind by that particular terms settled before the Lok Adalat. Once the terms are settled by the before the National Lok Adalat, and the concerned parties put their signatures along with their advocates, and thereafter there is the signatures of the three members of the Lok Adalat. The most important aspect is that why these members are signing after the obtaining the signatures of the party. So they are, we can say that they are authenticating the term settled for the Lok Adalat by way of putting their signatures. Thereafter, all of you are aware that when the matter is sub judice before court, then it shall bring it to the notice of the court that the matter gets settled before the Lok Adalat. Friends, you are aware that when the matter is pending before the court, the final authority to authenticate approval of settlement is vested with the court. Once the award has been prepared by the, we can say that the Lok Adalat, it has been forwarded to the court, and on the basis of terms of settlement, the court dispose of this particular matter as said before the Lok Adalat. So in short, this is the procedures adopted before in Lok Adalat for getting settled the matters. So same procedures would be adopted in respect of the pre-litigations matters. In case of the pre-litigations, there is no need to refer this particular dispute to the court because the court is because that dispute is not sub judice before court. So final affirmation of the court is not necessary in case of the pre-litigation cases. Only in post-litigation cases, the final affirmation for that particular settlement has been made by the court, and on that basis, the court put endorsement that the case has been finally disposed of in Lok Adalat on the basis of terms of settlement which has been placed on record by the party. So, in short, this is the procedure adopted by the Lok Adalat. So, you might have a question. Suppose the case settled before the Lok Adalat, award has been prepared, court has finalized that particular matter on the basis of settlement, and suppose in futures the parties under obligation, some obligations are casted on shoulder of litigant to perform their roles, to perform their part on the basis of that particular settlement. And if that particular party fail to perform their part of promise, then what options would be available to the aggrieved person? So in that circumstance, and friends, under Section 21 of the Legal Services Authority Act, it has been contemplated, it has been specifically stated that the whatever award, whatever settlement arrived in between parties and it has been authenticated by the members of the Lok Adalat, it has become an award in eye of law. Why it has been stated as award? This award means it has the status of it is the said award is said to be a decree passed by civil court. All of you are aware what would be a status of the decree passed by the civil court. When any court in civil dispute decide any adjudicate any dispute, the judgment has been delivered, and thereafter the decree has been prepared for the purpose of the execution of the judgment. For that purpose, it has been contemplated that the whatever award delivered by the Lok Adalat, that award would have the status of the decree passed by the civil court, and when it came across that the party in disputes who involved in settlement has not obeyed the terms of settlement, then aggrieved party can immediately approach to civil court for the purpose of execution. Execution means by way of execution, the party can immediately request the court that these are the terms settled by consent of the parties and he is not obeying as per the terms settled. So take the appropriate course of law to execute the, we can say, the award passed by the Lok Adalat. So this is very important provision that the party can get the fruits of the awards by approaching to court in case of the violation of the terms of settlement by the other party. Second aspect is that here the party, suppose the civil litigations has been settled before the Lok Adalat, then the court used to refund the 100% court fees, because all of you are aware that the laws contemplated for creating awareness among the people and litigant that you can save your time, you can save your money, as well as you can rescue from the rigid procedures of law if you chosen this platform. So for that purpose, there is a special provision incorporated stated that in case your dispute has been settled in Lok Nyalaya, and on that basis, the civil court has prepared the compromise decree on the basis of settlement arrived before Lok Adalat, then in that circumstances, the party is entitled for 100% refund of court fees. So this is very important thing that the amounts are, the court fees amount is refunded to the party. The third aspect is the friends. I told you that during course of the settlement, the parties are playing very vital roles because the members of the Lok Adalat are not imposing any award or imposing any terms of settlement to the parties, but party chosen to accept it. When the parties are involved in the process of settlement and the settlement has been arrived, then in IF law, it is presumed that the parties waive their right to go in appeal against that particular settlement. Why? Because the party themselves involved. Here it is not case that the court or third person adjudicating case and delivering judgments. The party themselves involved. They arrived at settlement before the Lok Adalat. That's why the party waives their right to go in and that particular dispute gets finality. That's why in ADR, Lok Adalat is playing very vital role. Nowadays, you will find that every year 4 to 5 Lok Adalats are arranged and thousands of the cases are settled within 1 day. Because this exercise has been before the Lok Adalat, the court started screening the matters. Only those identified matters which can be kept before Lok Adalat are screened well in advance, so that the maximum matters get disposed of before the Lok Adalat. All are involved. The litigants are involved. The advocates are involved. The colleges are also involved, as well as the judicial officers are playing very vital role in Lok Adalat by way of we can say this ADR mode. And then the second ADR mode, which is also very important one and playing very vital role nowadays is mediation. This I told you that we are from the cultures in which we believe that the whatever dispute crop up, it is to be settled in amicable manners. And the best example of this particular aspect we will find in our history through the panchayat system. So, though the panchayat system has been abolished, but I think by way of this mode of the ADR, we got the another panchayat system by way of the mediations, which has been recognized by the court. It has been or recognized by the law. Why? Why it has been recognized by the law? Friends, all of you are aware that the regular trend of the adjudications consume the more time. It consume the parties are required to pay fees, as well as the parties are tired due to the rigid procedure or technical procedure adopted by the court. So for that purpose, with the help of the mediations, all these we can say that the party can escape from all the problems and they can settle their disputes in we can say in win-win situations. The win-win situations, in short, is the slogan of the mediation mode of the settlement. So mediation in process of mediations, it is the non-adjudicatory process. Why it is non-adjudicatory process? Because the person who acted as mediators is not delivering any decisions, giving any suggestions. He is not working like a court. So it's a non-adjudicatory procedures. The mediators is the persons who can be appointed by the choice of the parties, as well as if the parties could not able to choose the mediators, then the help of the court can be taken for selecting the mediators. Again, there are two categories of the cases which comes before the mediators. One is the post litigation. First one is the post litigation cases. It means those cases which are the pending for court. And second one is the pre litigation cases. Those cases which are not pending before the courts. So, friends, just like the Lok Adalat, which is governed under the Legal Services Authority Act 1987, there is the rules for the effective mediations. So far as the Maharashtra is concerned, there is the mediation rules which has been framed by the Honorable High Court in the year 2006, which has been applicable to all district, taluka level, in all court, in all mediation centers across the state. So if we go through these particular rules, it reveals that they have created the structure for court annex mediation. So basically, these rules are governed for the cases which are pending before the court. It is not related to pre-litigation. It is only related to post-litigations. This is very important that all these rules are governed under for the post-litigation cases. For that purpose, you will find that which is aided by the MCPC, which is the apex board control on mediation process activities are under the MCPC, and thereafter in every state you will find a main mediation monitoring committee. So this particular committee look after the activities of the mediation in this particular state. At present, we are having main mediation monitoring committee in High Court. Thereafter, every district you will find there is district mediation monitoring committee. The district mediation monitoring committee is to look after the work in this particular the mediation empanelment of the mediators, as well the creating platform for the mediations, providing the venue for always, as well as creating the good atmosphere for the mediation. That work is vested with the district mediation monitoring committee. So in short, these are the committee at the state level as well as the district level, which is exclusively deal with the mediation work in court mediation. It means cases which are pending before the court. You are aware that the section 89 of the court is playing very vital role. Why is it very vital role? Because we can say we will find that this is the root provision, this is the very important provision. Tell the party to choose any mode of the ADRs when before the court considers case of party on merits. The section 89 of the Code of Criminal Procedure should be read by each and every student. Why? Because we can say this is the base of the in legal systems. That's why it speaks that when the part of the pleading is over, part of the pleading is over means when the plaint has been filed, written statement has been filed, party appear before court along with the advocate, there would be a stage for framing of the issues. Before the court consider the case for framing of the issues, the court shall consider the nature of disputes. When court consider the nature of dispute and court is prima facie satisfied, yes, these disputes there exist prima facie. The disputes is in such natures which can be resolved by intervention of the ADR. So in that circumstances, court is a very suitable matters which can be referred to the ADR. Then it is the court is under obligations to call upon party, to explain party, to sensitize the party different mode of the ADRs. Why this is required one? Friends, all of you are aware that the matters cannot be referred to the ADR in mechanical manner. Why? Because I told you that only those dispute in which dispute are in such natures in which there is no need to preserve the relation between the parties. there is no need to preserve the relation between the parties. Such type of dispute, if the parties are decided to go for the arbitration, that in that circumstances, the court can refer such type of dispute to arbitration. Second was, if court came across that the relations between the parties are required to be preserved. Relation is very important one, like a dispute between the husband and wife, matrimonial dispute, domestic violence cases. So in that circumstances, the mode of arbitration is not, we can say that the proper platform to decide the matter. So in that circumstances, court suggests the parties to prefer to go for mediation or conciliations. Third category, if the dispute is petty in nature, simple dispute is natures which will not take more time for getting settlement, such type of dispute can be referred to the Lok Adalat. So friends, we can say these are not a straight jacket formula, but if you read the APCON judgments, which is delivered by the Justice Honorable Justice Ravindran, you will find that the which type of matters are suitable for referring to the different mode of ADRs. Because why I am taking name of this particular landmark judgment? Because this is the judgment in which the Honorable Apex Court has discussed the scope of Section 89 of the CPC. In this particular judgment, the issue crop up before the Honorable Apex Courts whether matter can be sent to the arbitrator without consent of the parties. In that particular matter, the situation was that the High Court referred the matter to the arbitrations and directed parties to take the services from the arbitrators. Being agreed by this particular order, the matters came before the Honorable Apex Court. The Honorable Apex Court has discussed the scope of Section 89 and it has discussed how the civil court shall exercise jurisdiction for referring the matters to the different mood areas. So it was held by Honorable Apex Court. No doubt, consent of the parties is playing a vital role. So far as arbitration is concerned, it is expected if you go through the rules under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1994, we will find that it is mandatory that the part can place their dispute before mediators if they decide to go before arbitrations by way of pre-existence agreement. By way of pre-existence agreement means they can't, if there is no pre-existing agreement before the parties to go for mediator, to go for the arbitrations, then the party cannot go for mode of arbitrations. Only party can decide well in advance that whatever dispute crop up between them in futures can be decided by arbitration. So only the matter can be referred to the arbitration. But the Honorable Apex Court in this particular case had discussed that it is assumed that parties has not consented earlier for decide their dispute by arbitration. But when they are coming before the courts and they are consenting to go for the arbitration mode for deciding their dispute, and if the parties give consent in writing to go for the arbitrations, though there was no pre-existing agreement with the party, still court can refer this particular dispute to arbitration. So the court has laid down that the consent of the parties playing very important role in referring the matters to the arbitration. If there is no pre-existing agreement between parties and if the parties are not willing to go for the arbitration, so in that circumstances, court cannot compel the parties to choose the arbitrations for adjudicating their dispute. So this is the law laid down by the Honorable Apex Court. So far as the other modes is concerned, like conciliations, mediations, as well as the Lok Adalat is concerned. So it has been held by the Honorable Apex Court. No doubt, the consent of the parties is one, but assume the parties are not consenting for this particular aspect, or if the parties have not replied, though parties have given ample opportunity to disclose to adopt the mode, either mode of the ADR. In that circumstances, court can refer this particular dispute to the mediation, conciliation, as well as local, though parties are not consented for it. It's very important difference in arbitration proceeding and rest of the ADR proceeding in the judgments by the Honorable Apex Court. So we will find that they have categorized the different types of the cases which can go before the Lok Adalat, as well as which can go before mediations and other modes of the ADR. The list may not be an exhaustive one. Still, the Honorable Apex Court has laid down that any other matters, if the court thinks suitable to refer for the mediation, to refer for the ADR, can be referred. So next steps bear on the mediation. So the once the court inclined to refer this particular matters to mediation or party consent to mediation, the next stage be take the services from the mediators. So all of you are aware that at every district there is a mediation centers. At present, the secretary of the district services authority is the ex officio coordinators of this mediation center. Once the court has referred the dispute to the mediators, that particular case are giving to the mediation centers. The mediation centers are having the list of the mediators. We usually assign the cases on rotation basis, and we are taking care that the expertise, help of the expertise can be taken if the particular person is an expert civil dispute. So we are preferably allowed the case to those mediators who work on civil side. So by way of this mode, the work of the mediation has been started. Moment the parties are appeared before the mediation, the process of mediation start commence. So this particular period, 60 days period is there in which the mediation can be created. During that particular period, the court fixed the for report of during that particular period, court do not take any steps in further progress of the matter. In this particular period, parties appeared before the mediators, then mediator start the actual process of the mediation. In mediation, find there is a mediation queue which are having we can say that the good atmosphere for settling the dispute amicably. The party appeared before the mediators and the mediation process start on that basis. So first of all, when we are observing the roles of the mediators, I told you that the mediator is not a judge. Mediator is not an arbitrator. He is the persons whose duty is to create the atmospheres in which the parties can themselves able to settle their dispute in amicable manner. So first of all, it is duty of the mediator. If we go through the process of the mediation, we will it will find that there are four. The mediation is supposed to be completed in four phases. First of all, we can say that it is the when the party first time appear before the mediator, then the mediator is supposed to start by disclosing his status as mediator, his qualifications, and he must specifically state it to the parties that he is the neutral person, he is the impartial, he has no concern with the matters, he has no concern with the subject matters which is involved in this particular disputes. So what would be a role of the mediators? So we can say this is the introductory part which must be shared by the mediator in first sessions during course of the mediations. Moment the first session is over, then we can say that the real work of mediation can be started. Thereafter, the first introductory part is over. There will be a joint sessions as well as individual sessions, and thereafter there is a concluding session. During course of when we go through the joint session, we can say that during this particular session, the mediator has utilizing his skill to create the good atmosphere for good atmosphere in this particular process, which enabling party to settle their dispute. During course of the joint session, he takes in joint session, care has been taken by the mediator to gather the all informations regarding the case.
Yes, sir, you're
I-
audible.
Yes, yes.
audible.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, thank you. So during this process, the mediator focus on gather informations. What is the fact and issues in this particular case? What is the background of this particular case? So all these informations can be gathered by the mediator in joint session. So once information has been gathered, then he started his role of communicating the offers from one side to other sides. So he has care to see that the whatever the information disclosed by the party to mediators, only by the consent of that particular party, he is permitted to disclose to other sides. So we can say that the for that purpose, even the mediator conduct the individual sessions can is very important one, because whatever we can say the party want to say in confidential manner, it can be expressed before the mediator in this individual session, and whatever information disclosed to the mediator's way of document, by way of the information, by way of admission, it must not be disclosed to other side unless it has been consented by the party disclosing the information in writing. Yes, the purpose of exchanging the information, you are permitted to disclose the information to others. So this is very important things that the mediator is supposed to maintain confidentiality of the informations which he gathered in course of the mediations. Once there is the we can say that the healthy atmospheres and exchange of the thoughts between the parties has been commenced, then the task of the mediators is to create the we can say that the options before the parties, because he is not giving any suggestions, he is not giving advice, but at least he can reflect the parties, he can bring the attention parties. What is the involved between him and his counterpart? What is the position of law? What happen if on the base? What would happen in court if the court delivered decisions on the basis of document which is lying with the party? And so, what would be consequences? So we can say the all situation can be bring in notice by the mediator to the concerned party. So we can say that the role of the mediator is a very vital one, because this process right from introduction, joint session, individual session, and the conclusions. The mediator is the person because he is taking active part, but it is to be decided by parties to settle the dispute. He is just creating atmosphere how the parties would able to choose different form of settlement which has been placed before them on the basis of suggestions given by the mediator. So there is a slight difference between the conciliator and mediators. In case of conciliations, the suggestions can be given by the conciliators. The party may consider, but here the mediator cannot give any suggestions. His duty is only to create the dialogues between the parties and suggest the provision of law, the positions of the dispute involved between the parties, and on that basis, enabling the parties to get settle their matters in amicable manner. So this is in short, this is the process of the mediations in which the mediations is working. So once the mediators has we can say that the parties decided to settle their dispute amicably, that whatever the terms decided by parties, these terms gets reduced in writing at the concluding sessions. The terms of settlement signed by the parties as well as their counsel is present during course of mediations. Thereafter, it has been signed by the mediator also, because the parties have put their signatures in presence of mediators for the settlement. This type of endorsement is expected should be there on this particular report by the mediators, and thereafter the report has been sent to the court. So this is regarding those matters which are settled before the mediator. The next step will be you might have questions. Once the matter is settled by the parties, with the help of the mediators? Can the dispute get finality? The answer is no. The next role would be of the court to call upon the parties to get verify whether parties are binding by the terms settled before the mediator. The second aspect is the if court came across that the any terms of settlement which is not digestible by law, which is not permissible by law, which is not we can say that the which is not lawful one. So in circumstances, the even the court cannot allow to settle the matters if the terms of settlements are not the lawful one. So this is very important. Mere the matter is settled before the mediator, it doesn't mean that it gets finality automatically. So once the party is satisfied, once the court is satisfied that the party involved in the process of the mediations, matters get the dispute gets settled, terms get settled, consent of the parties. Next steps will be the court proceed to prepare the decree that is called as the decree by consent of the parties, which is called as the compromise decree. Order 23 of the Code of Civil Procedures. If we perusal, it will reveal that when the matter is amicably settled between the parties by way of terms of settlement, then court used to pass the compromise decree. So this get by way of this particular procedures, the disputes gets finality with the help of the mediation. Friends, you might have question in your mind. I told you that during course of mediation process, the party disclose everything to the mediators, right from the weak part in particular case of the party, some admissions, some secret documents. So whether mediator can be called as witness before court, or we can say that is which said before the mediator. The answer is no. That the mediator court cannot summon the mediator to verify his alleged to be stated before the mediator during course of the mediation. So very important that the even court is taking care to see that the session conducted by mediator it will be a confidential one. Mediator is not supposed to share these informations with everybody. So this is very important, which gives the can say that the very confidentiality to the things which has been disclosed to the mediators during course of the mediation. So the friends, even Supreme Court in judgment has given directs decided the mediator is performing his role and he is giving any communication with the court. And the case should be done that the whatever things happen before the mediator, it should not bring into the notice of the court by way of writing. So whatever happens before the mediator, it is to the extent of mediator only. He should not witness before for the particular thing. So it has stated that the court dispute could not be settled before the mediator. It is duty of the mediator is only to give in report that the dispute has not been settled before mediator. This is only one line report would be sufficient. It should not be stated in that the how the submitted for mediator or the issues in the particular case, what party said. It should not be mentioned in mediator report. Only the which can be disclosed report is that matter is fair, will be sufficient. So the next question is whether there can be any communication between mediator and the court. There should not be any communication between the mediator and court in mediation process, except when the mediator is sending final note that yes, is done and the case is failed. In these two circumstances only, the mediator can be communicate the court by way of the report only. So this is very confidential and very, we can say, the important mode of AR, which is playing a role nowadays. I told you that if the parties explore these different mode of the areas, it is very vital one. When we are talking about the mediators, obviously it will save the time because once you have taken the services of the mediator is a trained person, he is a neutral person, he is a impartial. So that once the system in process of the settlement and themselves settle the tasks are beneficial to them, it means party not satisfaction in this process. They are not required to go for court for the purpose of adjudication. Second option should be it's a saving of time, very important one. Nowadays, at the opening, I told you it says that the justice delay is justice denied. So it can be curtailed if the matter is settled with the mediator because the mediation is required to be completed within period of 60 days and maximum further 30 days time can be extended at the mercy of the referral court. So this entire process has to be completed within 19 days. And we are taking services of expert for getting resolved the dispute on the basis of the process of the mediation. That's why this is very useful mode which can save the time. Obviously, time is going to be saved. It would also enabling to save the money. All of you are aware that nowadays litigation cost is higher than the fees of the lawyers, court fees, and other miscellaneous charges. The common man, even the person who is who is from financial sound category, he could not afford all these fees. That's why this is very, we can say, the good platform by way of which we can save our money also. And it's the next important thing is that there will be win-win situation. Why there will be win-win situation? Because parties themselves involved in process settlement. That's why there is no control by the parties of any terms of settlement. So again, I must say these are the circumstances, these are the silent features of the mediators in post-litigation cases. Now we go further for the pre-litigation cases. The rules which is framed by the Honorable High Court in 2006, they are connected with the court annex mediation only. It means it governs only those cases which are pending before court and which are referred to the mediator. So you may have questions. What's about the cases which yet not filed before court? Can there be a mediation in at the pre-instruction stage? Answer is yes. When we are talking about the commercial dispute, you might have aware that the section 12A of the Commercial Act has been amended, and it has been now no suit, no commercial suit is instituted in court nowadays unless a party recourse the mode of pre-institution mediations. On that basis, at every district, services authority, there is set up of the pre-institution mediation centers by which the services are given to the litigant to settle the commercial dispute through at the pre-litigation stage. So there is a rules of relations commercial dispute rule 2018 government, and on that basis the legal service authority is the appointed as the authority to look after the work of the mediation. Friends, during this process, when any person approaches to us for the purpose of the pre-institution mediation in commercial disputes, we get verified that whether the application has been filed in given format. So you will find the formats in the 2018 rules that the format is a formal one. It having the details of the parties, facts of the case, as well as what type of relief the plaintiff is seeking from the opponent side. So only these aspects is required to be mentioned in this particular applications. So on that basis, once we receive the applications, we call upon parties to deposit the fees of rupees 1,000 to the legal services authority for the services. So once we accept the fees and receive the applications, our authority used to issue notice to the counterpart. The counterpart, when marked there before the legal services authority, the choice has been given to the applicant to give consent for mediation or to go further without any without the mediation. It means when the counterpart appeared and consented for mediation, then we call upon the parties to deposit the fees of the mediators, which has been fixed under the rules. It's right. It starts from 10,000 till 75,000. It depending on the suit value of the claim. Right from the 3 lakhs to 1 crore in city civil court. And if the value of suit value is more than 1 crore, then dispute lies before the High Court. That's why once the party deposited the fees, then we are having the panels of the mediators. At present, in 37 mediators in Mumbai Civil Court, in which the two mediation institution are also impaneled by us. These two mediation institutions are having each mediation institution is having more than 25 the mediators. Their services can be taken by the legal services authority. So the once we party consented for mediations, then we assign this particular dispute to the mediators, and the mediator is under obligation to complete the process of mediation within period of 90 days. So what will happen? Suppose take a case that the matter gets settled before the mediators. So that particular settlement gets status of award as if decree passed by civil court. I told you when the matter adjudicated by the arbitrations, it becomes an award. It's an decree passed by civil court in eye of law. In like manner, here when the matters by way of pre-institution mediation in commercial dispute is settled by the mediators, it becomes an award and it gets finality. And if the party is not obeying by the terms settled before the mediators, then either party can approach civil court for the purpose of execution. So in this manner, the process of mediation can be completed. The friends, this is very important one that no doubt we are receiving the n number of application at present and very few persons giving consent for the mediation. But still, the ratio of the settlement is a very good one. At present, we have received more than we have referred 120 cases for the mediation, in which near about 30 cases have been successfully settled before the mediator. So these 30 cases will not go before the court. Why? Because this is very important that the pre-institution mediation means before approaching to court, this mediation is compulsory. When the matter gets settled before mediator, then there is no requirement to knock the door of court for adopting the adjudication procedure. So this is important one which is playing very vital role in all disputes so far as the commercial dispute is concerned. When we are talking about the family disputes, so you are aware that the family court is a separate establishment which is governed under the Family Court Act. So the act is contemplated in case of the family dispute, attempt to be made to settle the dispute amicably. For that purpose, counselor are working in the family court. No matters directly go before the court under the records of the counseling. So the Honorable Apex Court has came to discuss that the mere party has chosen the mode of conciliation. It doesn't mean that the party is precluded from exploring the other mode of ADR. So the Honorable Apex Court was talking about the mediation. So the Honorable Apex Court was directed that the merely matter could not settle for the in conciliation before the counselor. Still, the family court shall explore the mediation to get settled. Even it was just that there should be a pre-institution mediation helping all family courts. This is very important because like a commercial dispute, it is not mandatory for the family dispute that there should be a pre-institution mediation. By way of the judgment, the Honorable Apex Court directed that there should be a pre-institution mediation helping this in all family courts. How it would be worked out if it came across that any family disputes before mediation centers by way of pre-institution mediations, and this matter gets settled before the mediators. There is no need to approach family court for settling their dispute, for adjudicating their dispute. So this is very, we can say that the important move by the all family court, as well as this practices has also been adopted in motor accident claim tribunal. They have been started that they have been each motor accident claim tribunal is having the helping this by way of the mediation centers, that they before approaching to court they are taking help from mediation center so that the matter can be resolved amicably. You might have a question that how the matters which has been settled before the mediators by way of the at the pre-institution stage can authenticity. You are that so far as post litigation matter is concerned, the court is the final authority, give authenticity, the settlement could be for the year. But what's about those cases which are not coming before the court? So the rules is that our so far as Maharashtra is concerned, there is a the rules has been framed which are saying that when the matter has been settled before the mediator, and it is not a dispute which is pending before court. So whatever settlement has arrived between parties, it should be confirmed in Lok Adalat. Why it is required to be confirmed in Lok Adalat? Because under the legal services authority rules, the whatever the award, whatever the settlement occurred before Lok Adalat, it's word in a law. That's why it's authenticity. But so far as the pre-litigations in family dispute or other disputes, it gets authenticated only after it has been approved by the Lok Adalat by placing the terms of settlement before the Lok Adalat. So you can say that this is the procedures can be adopted in mediations for the those cases pending for the court, those cases coming before, yet not coming before the courts, but they are compelled by law to get settled through mediations at pre-institution stage. So, friends, I must tell you that the nowadays there is a movement of the alternate dispute resolution. You will find that during this situation, when the court work being affected, the Honorable Chief Justice of our India, Honorable Justice Sahib, had appealed that the this is a position we can conduct the court by way of physical presence. We shall explore the virtual mode for taking the cases, and preferably it was suggested, it was appealed by the Lordship that we shall use the ADR mode. We shall use the mediation, negotiations, as well as the Lok Adalat for settling the matters, because the parties involved in this process, and on that basis, like a court has been started working in virtual manners. It has been suggested that there should be a platform and be explored for settling the disputes through the ADR modes. So, friends, all of you are aware that even we are communicating to each other at present through this technological mode. So, so the ADR's modes, different modes, they can also explore this platform for reaching to the litigant or reaching to the common person, so that the litigant can also avail, litigant can also choose this platform of ADR, online platform ADR, for settling their dispute. So far as the online work mediation as well as ADR in court is concerned, the even the steps have been taken by the Honorable High Court, that the suggestion are called from the all districts for creating the virtual platform, so that the we can mediation on platform, because it has been already started by so many mediation institutions. Because when we are talking about the metropolitan cities like Pune, Mumbai, Nagpur, there are a number of mediation institutions. They are having their own infrastructures, and they are utilizing this online platform to settle their matters through the mediation. So even the High Court has also taken move that by way of the standard operating procedures will be laid down, and on that basis can utilize this platform for as well as to settle the should be important thing. Common people believe to that if there is a violation of their right, there is only option left with him to knock the door off. But friends, I must tell you that when the Honorable Justice Ravindran has inaugurated the books on when he was the chairman of the MCPC, he has quoted one example. He has emphasizes that the near about 60, 65, 70% litigations are coming before the court are in such natures. If such dispute resolved to the ADR, then the matter can be end up there. So it means he quoted one example. He gave example that every village we find the primary health centers. What is the role of primary health center? Primary health center has been set up by the government for providing the health facility to the needy persons. The medical officers, which is appointed by government, look after the. It means those patients who are visiting the primary centers with temperature, they are treated on cases. They are treated in hospital for the purpose of systems. So, in case if he came across that the person is having the serious symptoms, they need operation, then and then only he refer that particular patient to the sons or that patients can be hospitalized for further treatment. Suggested what would happen if the medical officer are started practice of admitting all patients in hospital. Suppose the person is symptoms of temperatures and cough, in it he can be prescribed medicine. He can take medicine at home itself for that. He never required hospitalization. The whole patient in hospital that the person the treatment as an indoor patient in the circumstance it means 65 to 70% cases if they're coming before the ADR mode, then the party will get settle their disputes by saving their times and there will be a win-win situation among parties. So it would be benefited by two way. First one, we are saying that the courts are overburdened with the cases. Naturally, if such type of cases are not coming before court, the court will not be overburdened. Second aspect is that the help of the court would be taken only in the even cases in which the intervention of court is some issue involved, where some other aspect would be involved. So in that circumstance, the court can be taken. So I mean to say that the friends, this is very we can say that this is very important provision of law nowadays. I heard that some colleges have started the diploma as well as degree course of mediation. So I have to all of you. This is very good form if you want to make a career in mediations as well as this in ADR with very bright futures. And fortunately, your curriculum is also this topic which would boost you to have good futures in the mediation as well as the arbitration mode. So, friends, by this webinar, I appeal to all of you that we want to sensitize common man, because by way of webinar, don't sensitize you. We don't want to sensitize you regarding the year. We want that you are our we can say that the brand ambassadors, help of which we can reach to the common people to sensitize them before about the ADR, because I told you that the common people are not aware about ADRs. They are only aware about the court system. So try to convince them how the ADR is helpful to them, how they can save their time, they can save their money, they can save their relations by using this platform. So we expect that the object of this webinar should not be only to know about the ADR, but whatever you earn, it should be utilized for sensitizing common persons. And definitely this move has been taken by the Naujivan Law College, that they have organized this marathon webinar. We can say that the marathon webinar, because like it came across that they have chosen different topics for creating awareness. So by way of these missions, we can reach to the last persons in society who are in real need of the legal assistance. Thank you, Sri Pandey sir, as well as the principal, for giving me an opportunity. And thank you, the participants, for being the good listeners. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks a lot, sir. Thank you very much. You have narrated the provisions of the ADR and other more of alternate depreciation system, a very lucid manner, very nice manner, and I'm sure that it will really help while completing their syllabus or the curriculum. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now I request my colleague, coordinator, Dr. Shata Inamdar ma'am, to propose vote of thanks. Ma'am?
I, Dr. Shahista Inamdar, coordinator of this virtual lecture series, thank our person, Shri Yatin Game Sir, Secretary of District Legal Service Authority, Mumbai, for his valuable guidance. And he has consented for this event in very first instance, which shows his quench towards providing legal knowledge and legal awareness, which is very important part of Legal Service Authority Act. Sir, we expect guidance in future too. Sir has rightly said that this year, 2020, we all know that we have faced this pandemic situation. Work was hampered and marginalized section of society has suffered. But duty of our law college faculty and students is that we shouldered the responsibility to aware the legal rights and duties to all the citizens of country. Why we have chosen ADR techniques as the topic, as the subject? As people say in back of mind, tariq pe tariq, justice delayed is justice denied. People are losing faith in judiciary because of the traditional litigation method. But today, Sir has rightly mentioned the various ADR techniques like arbitration, conciliation, mediation, negotiation, lok adalat, and not only that, only win and lose situation, win and win situation. So, our mission of Navjivan Law College is to offer to the society makers and upholders of law, instilling into them the virtues of integrity, loyalty, and social values. By Adalat, justice to the doorstep of the needy. Our vision of Navjivan Law College is to provide quality legal education, to meet the global, to enhance the standard of legal education, along with creating legal awareness in society and increasing the participation of people, particularly of rural and economical disadvantaged people. So we assure you that we all are really now, not only that these students, I assure you that my students and all the participants present here will act as a mediator to enhance the knowledge in the society members as well. In COVID pandemic, when it was not possible to meet each other, we all should not be deprived of the legal knowledge. Therefore, Navjivan Law College is here with virtual lecture series in different phases
Yes, sir.
and on different subjects. Last phase has covered the subject of professional ethics and content of law. This phase has been in collaboration with District Legal Service Authority, Nasik. Next phase is starting by tomorrow. The subject of the next phase is forensic science, cyber law, and medical jurisprudence. I thank Shri Prasad Kulkarni, District Legal Service Authority, for collaborating with Navjivan Law College, Nasik. I thank Honorable Bade Sir, Bade Ma'am, and our Principal Dr. for permitting us, we coordinators, that this idea into a reality. I would like to thank my colleague Pandey Sir, co-coordinator of this world lecture series, and all the faculties of Navjivan Law College as whole team, though not on screen but off the screen. And my dear volunteers, all the volunteer students, I thank you. And last but not least, all participants present here and those who will view on YouTube, so that to make it a grand success, I thank one and all. Thank you. Now I request everyone to on the videos for a virtual photograph. Dipti and Deshpande. Kindly do the honors by taking the. Yes. Whether guest is there?
Ma'am, he has already left because of some important work in the court.
Okay. So tomorrow we all are meeting again at 11 o'clock. I'll be sharing the link as already attendance link and feedback link has been posted. You will receive the certificate on your mail for phase 2. Now I request you all that we all will be meeting tomorrow. We will be sending you the registration form for phase 3. Kindly be tuned, stay tuned for phase 3 for 3 days, tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday. Soon you'll be getting the brochure and the details on the WhatsApp group.